Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. As you are aware, sir, among the many social and economic evils that beset our nation, food adulteration is most dangerous because the unsuspecting public have no way of knowing that when they buy a certain article, whether it is up to the required standard or not. A great deal of quick money has been made by unscrupulous antisocial elements by adulterating foodstuffs. A great deal of ingenuity has gone into this whole process of adulteration. I was myself surprised, sir, when the committee went through this to learn in what ways special adulterants are manufactured in large quantities so that food can be adulterated. And very often, as you know, sir, the adulteration is of such a nature that it causes death or permanent injury and disablement to the people who consume those articles. It is therefore an extremely serious matter, and there has been a demand from all sections of the public and in both houses that this entire Prevention of Food Adulteration Act should be amended, should be made more effective, and that there should be strong and effective action against these antisocial elements. Next, for this purpose, sir, I introduced in this house an amendment to the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954. This act was passed 45 years ago by Parliament. The experience of its administration, I must admit, sir, has not been very impressive so far, both because the act itself had loopholes and also, I must admit, because our administrative machinery, particularly in the states, was not really as effective as it should be. Therefore, I introduced this amendment in the Rajya Sabha on August 12. At that time, there was a demand from all sections of this house as well as the members of the parliament from the Lok Sabha and the general public that in view of the very important nature of this legislation, it should be referred to a joint select committee. So, in response to that, it was referred to a joint select committee. It had 33 sittings and presented its report. It looked into almost 250 memoranda and discussed this matter for a considerable period of time, about a year. And I would like to express my gratitude particularly to my honorable friend for his wise and mature guidance of the work of the committee, from which we benefited very greatly, and we took keen interest in the matter. Next, the bill that has now emerged is definitely a great improvement upon the bill that we had originally introduced. Sir, the basic effort in this bill has been threefold. Firstly, to safeguard the interest of the consumers, because, as I said, it is the unsuspecting consumer, and particularly women and children and weaker section of the society, who are the main victims of these evils. Secondly, it is to prevent undue harassment to the trader, whether it is the producer, the wholesaler, or the retailer, whereas we should certainly keep a very strict watch upon them. There should not be any cause for undue harassment. And thirdly, the act should be capable of effective implementation, because there was a general feeling among the members of the committee that implementation had been lacking. These were the three major principles that were kept in mind by the committee in its deliberations. Sir, with your permission, I will very briefly put before the Honorable House some of the salient features of the bill that I have now presented. The finest point is that a distinction has been made between adulteration that is capable of easy detection by the eye and adulteration which is not. In other words, if something is adulterated and is visible, at least the consumer has the opportunity to take necessary precautions. But if it is processed and cooked, then there is no way by which the consumer can know whether it is adulterated or not until he has reaped the ill effects of adulteration. Next, therefore, we have redefined primary food, and we have now for the first time introduced a graded system of punishments, a graded system of penalties. On the one hand, we have exempted altogether, as a result of a lot of evidence that was brought before us, primary food which is substandard due to purely natural causes in which there is no human agency and which is primary food. In other words, which is easily visible. In such cases, there is no penalty, and it has been taken out of the act at the other end for deliberate adulteration which can cause death or grievous injury. We have brought in punishments up to life imprisonment. So what we have done is this: we have these 5 categories. Primary: food adulterated due to purely natural causes is exempt. Then there is injurious and non-injurious adulteration. Here we have got a graded system of penalties going up to life imprisonment, so that deterrence is there and people realize that they cannot play with the lives of their fellow citizens. On the other hand, non-guilty people are brought within the mischief of the act. Stop.